Chapter 2 Juliana Flipped. The first day I met Bryce Sulowski, I flipped. Honestly, one look at him and I became a lunatic. It's his eyes. Something in his eyes. They're blue and framed in the blackness of his lashes. They're dazzling, absolutely breathtaking. It's been over 6 years now, and I learned long ago to hide my feelings. But oh, those first days, those first years. I thought I would die for wanting to be with him. 2 days before the second grade is when it started, although the anticipation began weeks before. Ever since my mother had told me that there was a family with a boy my age moving into the new house right across the street. Soccer camp had ended, and I'd been so bored because there was nobody, absolutely nobody, in the neighborhood to play with. Oh, there were kids, but every one of them was older. That was dandy for my brothers, but, but what it left me was home alone. My mother was there, but she had better things to do than kick a soccer ball around. So she said, anyway, at the, at the time, I didn't think there was anything better than kicking a soccer ball around, especially not the likes of laundry or dishes or vacuuming. But my mother didn't agree, and the danger of being home alone with her and the danger of being home alone with her was that she'd recruit me to help her wash or dust or vacuum, and she wouldn't tolerate the dribbling of a soccer ball around the house as I moved from chore to chore. To play it safe, I waited outside for weeks, just in case the new neighbors moved in early. Literally, it was weak. I entertained myself I entertained myself by playing soccer with our dog, Champ. Mostly he'd just block because a dog can't exactly kick and score. But once in a while, he'd dribble with his nose. The scent of a ball must overwhelm a dog, though, because Champ would eventually try to chomp it, then lose the ball to me. When the Loski's moving van finally arrived, everyone in my family was happy. Little Juliana was finally gonna have a playmate. My mother, being the truly sensible adult that she is, made me wait more than an hour before going over to meet him. Give them a chance to stretch their legs, Juliana, she said. They will want some time to adjust. She wouldn't even let me watch from the yard. I know you, sweetheart. Somehow that ball will wind up in their yard, and you'll just have to go retrieve it. So I watched from the window, and every few minutes I'd ask, now? And she'd say, give them a little while longer, would you? Then the phone rang, and the minute I was sure she was good and preoccupied, I tugged on her sleeve and asked, now? She nodded and whispered, okay, but take it easy. I'll be over there in a minute. I was too excited not to charge across the street, but I did try very hard to be civilized once I got to the moving van. I stood outside looking in for a record-breaking length of time, which was hard because there he was, about halfway back, my new sure-to-be best friend, Bryce Sulowski. Bryce wasn't really doing much of anything. He was more hanging back, watching his father move boxes on the lift gate. I remember feeling sorry for Mr. Sulowski because he looked worn out, moving boxes all by himself. I also remember that he and Bryce were wearing matching turquoise polo shirts, which I thought was really cute, really nice. When I couldn't stand it any longer, I called hi into the van, which made Bryce jump, and then quick as a cricket. He started pushing a box like he'd been working all along. I could tell from the way Bryce was acting so guilty that he was supposed to be moving boxes, but he was sick of it. He'd probably been moving things for days. It was easy to see that he needed a rest. He needed some juice, something. It was also easy to see that Mr. Losky wasn't about to let him quit. He was gonna keep on moving boxes around until he collapsed. And by then, Bryce might be dead before he'd had the chance to move in. The tragedy of it catapulted me into the moving van. I had to help. I had to save him. When I got to his side to help him shove a box forward, the poor boy was so exhausted that he just moved aside and let me take over. Mr. Losky didn't want me to help, but at least I saved Bryce. I'd been in the moving van all of 3 minutes when his dad sent him off to help his mother unpack things inside the house. I chased Bryce up the walkway. And that's when everything changed. You see, I cut up to him and grabbed his arm, trying to stop him so maybe we could play a little before he got trapped inside. And the next thing I know, he's holding my hand, looking right into my eyes. My heart stopped. It just stopped beating. And for the first time in my life, I had that feeling. You know, like the world is moving all around you, all beneath you, all inside you. And you're floating in midair. And the only thing keeping you from drifting away is the other person's eyes. They're connected to yours by some invisible physical force, and they hold you fast while the rest of the world swirls and twirls and falls completely away. I almost got my first kiss that day. I'm sure of it. But then his mother came out the front door, and he was so embarrassed that his cheeks turned completely red. And the next thing you know, he's hiding in the bathroom. I was waiting for him to come out when his sister Lunetta saw me in the hallway. She seemed big and mature to me. And since she wanted to know what was going on, I told her a little bit about it. I shouldn't have, though, because she wiggled the bathroom doorknob and started teasing Bryce something fierce. "Hey, baby brother," she called through the door. "There's a hot chick out here waiting for you. What's the matter? Afraid she's got cooties?" It was so embarrassing. I yanked on her arm and told her to stop it, but she wouldn't. So finally I just left. I found my mother outside talking to Mrs. Losky. Mom had given her the beautiful lemon bundt cake that was supposed to be our dessert that night. The powdered sugar looked soft and white, and the cake was still warm, sending sweet lemon smells into the air. My mouth was watering just looking at it, but it was in Mrs. Losky's hands, and I knew there was no getting it back. All I could do was try to eat up the smells while I listened to the two of them discuss grocery stores and the weather forecast. After that, Mom and I went home. It was very strange. I hadn't gotten to play with Bryce at all. All I knew was that his eyes were a dizzying blue, that he had a sister who was not to be trusted, and that he'd almost kissed me. I fell asleep that night thinking about the kiss that might have been. What did the kiss feel like anyway? Somehow, I knew it wouldn't be like the one I got from Mom and Dad at that time. The same species. Maybe, but a radically different beast. To be sure, like a wolf and a whippet. Only science would put them on the same tree.